Namo Buddhaya. One day, a young lady called Kisagotami came running to the Buddha, carrying the dead body of her only child. Her child has passed away, and she refused to admit that her child has been dead. All she thought was that this child is not talking and smiling and giggling is because of a disease. He had fallen ill. So she went around the city calling for a doctor to cure the disease of this innocent child. But as there is no doctor who can bring a dead to the life, finally, a wise man said to her, "Oh, young lady, I know about a doctor who can cure the disease of your child. He resides in that monastery. His name is Gautama the Buddha. Go and meet him, and he will give you a solution for this problem." Then Kisagotami came running to the Buddha, and here she lies in front of the Buddha, sobbing and begging to the Buddha to bring the baby back to life. Then our great teacher, Supreme Buddha, out of compassion, he looked into Kisagotami and said, "Gotami, I can cure the disease of your child. But before that, to make a medicine for him, I need a handful of mustard seed. Can you bring that?" Kisagotami's face was lit up with happiness, and she said, "Oh, Master Gautama, I will bring a handful of mustard seed from anywhere with no time." Then our great teacher, Supreme Buddha, said, "Gautami, not so fast. First of all, you need to remember, you should bring a handful of mustard seed from a family where no one have ever died." Then Gautami said, "Okay, Master Gautama, I will bring that." So she went running, carrying the dead body of her own child to the nearest house in the monastery. There was an old lady in that house. Then she asked from that old lady, "Oh, madam, can I have a handful of mustard seed from you? I need to cure the disease of this child. I need it as a medicine." Then the old lady said, "Okay, young lady, I will give you a handful of mustard seed." Then the Gautami asked, "By the way, has anyone have ever died in your family?" Then the old lady said, "Oh, young lady, I am sorry to say, 2 days ago my husband died." Then Kisagotami said, "Okay, then there is no use of your mustard seed. I need a handful of mustard seed from a family where no one have ever died." Then she went to the next house and to the next house. She went all around the city, finding a handful of mustard seed from a family where no one have died. But finally, she could not find it. In each and every family, someone have been dead. Finally, she realized that she is not alone in this world. She realized that death is a common fate for all the people. All the people have suffered this common phenomena. Then finally she realized that her child is dead and she cannot bring her back to life. Then what she did was, she went to the jungle and she buried her beloved son in the soil, and she came back to the monastery to to meet our great teacher, Supreme Buddha. Finally, she said, "Oh, Venerable Sir, I knew my child was dead, but I was awakened from that sorrow." Dear devotees and my dear children, when someone dies, when the near and dear one fade away from our life, disappear from our life, it is one of the greatest, hardest experiences that we are going through in all of our lives. Sometimes it may be traumatic to many people. Sometimes they may cry over years and years because of loss of loved ones. So, Supreme Buddha said, this wasn't happen only for you. Remember, one day everyone will die. That is the common fate for all of us. In 100 years of time, all of us are not in this world. We all have to say goodbye to this world. Remember, all the relationships, all the near and dear and loved ones around you will fade away one day from your life. Or you have to fade away from their life. That is the rule of this world. Supreme Buddha said, always remember that you have to be separated from the people who are around you, the people who love you most. Realizing this bitter truth, the common truth for all of us, will give us the motivation and will give us the inspiration to love the people around us more. Because you know that you have a little time. Because you know you have a little time to love people around you, care the people around you, look after the people around you, give your love and kindness to them. You will have a little time for that. So when you realize that, you can love them perfectly. And also, when they fade away from your life, you can see this reality, and of course you will go through some sort of grief in your life because of loss of the loved one. But remember, you will have the strength to overcome that grief by the time. It will not be traumatic to you, because you know this was bound to happen one day. Remember, sun arises from the east, and at the end of the day, it sets from the west. No one can stop that. That is the reality of this world. That is the nature of this world. Sun arises, and at the end of the day, it will set. No one is grieving for that. Same goes with our life. We arise to this world from our birth, and we set out from this world from our death. So death is common phenomena. So what you have to do, when a near and dear and loved one fade away from your life, realize this was bound to happen. This was a thing that should be that must be happen. You have to stop grieving. And after a death of loved one, you should do more good things, more merits and wholesome things in order to make that dead person, the beloved person, to be happy. If that person sees you, that you are sobbing because of him, because of the loss of him, he will not be happy. He or she will not be happy. So what you have to do good things after that, right? Do wholesome things, remembering him, and that will make him happy. So what you have to do, you can cry, it is not a problem, but do not let it go for a long time. Recover yourself from that grief and start living your life in a good way, in a wholesome way. In that way, you will have the ability to overcome the grief of your life. Namo Buddhaya, Theruvan Saranai. Having to go through an experience of losing a loved one can be extremely painful for people. So today, I want to share with you one advice from the Buddha that will help you to ease up and that will help you to deal with this grief of losing a loved one. Okay, this is from Anguttara Nikaya, Thana Sutta, and in this sutta Buddha mentions Sabbehi me piyehi manapehi nana bhavo vina bhavoti abhinnang paccavekkitabba. Whether you are a male person or a female or a monk or a lay person like you, whoever you are, think that one day I have to be separated from all the loving people and all the loving things around me. This is the reality. Now, this is all about admitting the reality. Normally, we don't like to admit the reality. People run away from realities. They don't like to think about that they are going to die one day. They don't like to think about that they are going to become old one day. They don't like to think about that they are going to be sick one day or get into diseases one day. So this is all about realities, right? In this life, in this very life, right, we all have to face this reality. Death, sickness, old age, losing loved ones. These are the realities that we cannot stop, no? You cannot stop it, I cannot stop it, no one can stop it in this world. So, one thing that Buddha tells us is admit the reality. See the reality as it is and try to think about it. Okay, one day I have to be separated from all these people around me, right? There are lots of people around us who are very near and dear and we love them so much. The reality is one day you and I have to be separated from all these people, no? Or we have to leave them. So what Buddha says is, get ready to face this reality, right? How do you get ready to face this reality? By thinking about this every single day, right? Buddha said, abhinnam paccavekkitabban. Think it frequently, right? I have to be separated from these people around me. One day, that is the reality. When you think about this, there's another big advantage of thinking like this. What is that? When you think about this, you can have that compassion and you can show your love and kindness purely. Why? Because you know that you are not going to be around them for a long time. You know that you are not going to be with them forever. When you know that, and when you know that you have a little time to be with these people around you, then you can show your fullest love and you can show your fullest kindness in this little time. You do your best to do that, right? You do your best to show your love and kindness. So from now onwards, get ready to face this reality, right? When you get ready for that, when you face these situations in real life, you can face them with a strong mind. Most of the time, people face these situations unsuccessfully, all right? They often feel depressed, they become so much sad. Sometimes some people end up suiciding themselves, right? So when you make your mind and to face the reality, when you make your mind strong enough to face the reality, you can move on with your life and you can face that grief successfully. So think about the reality, don't run away from that, right? Then you will be able to create a happy and a peaceful mind in your life. Namo Buddhaya. So remember, there are so many benefits that we can gain by practicing the mind of loving kindness. Now, these are not only the benefits that we can gain by practicing the loving kindness meditation, but if we need to gain these benefits, we need to practice the mind of loving kindness in our day-to-day life, in a practical way, right? The loving kindness should be in your bodily actions. The loving kindness should be in your verbal actions, that means in your speech, and also, most importantly, the loving kindness must be there in your mind, right? That is the most important thing, because when you practice the thoughts of loving kindness, automatically your actions, your words will be more lovely and more kind, because it is the rule of our life. Our thoughts become our actions and our words. Our words and actions become our habits, and our habits becomes our character, and the character determines our destiny. So what we need to do is we need to generate and we need to cultivate more lovely and kind and compassionate thoughts in our mind. The more we cultivate these loving kindness thoughts inside our mind, our life will be more peaceful. So our great teacher, Supreme Buddha, taught us there are 11 benefits that you can gain by practicing the mind of loving kindness. Now, this is a special discourse that was done by our great teacher, Supreme Buddha. You can find this sutta in the Numerical Discourses of the Buddha, the book of Numerical Discourses of the Buddha, the Anguttara Nikaya. And you can find it in the book of Levens. In this sutta, Buddha says, because when the liberation of the mind by loving kindness has been pursued, when the liberation of the mind by loving kindness. Now, we talked about the liberation of the mind, the Ceto Vimukti, in the earlier episode of the meditation series. So, if you don't have any idea about what is liberation of the mind, please check out that. Then you will get a good understanding about that. So the Buddha used several phrases and words to describe how you should practice this mind of loving kindness. Buddha says, because when the liberation of the mind by loving kindness has been pursued, that is the first word. You need to pursue the mind of loving kindness. Developed, you need to develop it. That means little by little, you need to develop your mind of loving kindness and increase the amount of the spread of loving kindness and cultivate it, right? You need to practice it and cultivate in your mind, right? Let it grow through your mind. And this is the special word that Buddha used. It should be made like a vehicle, right? Yani kathaya, Buddha says. That means it should be like a vehicle. Now, how can we practice loving kindness like a vehicle? Now, once you get used to drive a vehicle, right? Once you are a pro at driving a vehicle, at any time, at anywhere, right? In any instance, you can drive that vehicle. You can get into it and you can drive on. Because you don't have any hesitation and you don't have any doubt about driving and how should I drive and where should I drive. Like that, you don't have any hesitation and doubt about driving. So same goes with the mind of loving kindness, right? That means you need to have the ability to practice the loving kindness meditation or mind of loving kindness at any time, anywhere, in any instance. So that is what Buddha says. Yani kathai, or it should be practiced like a vehicle. And then Buddha said, you need to carry out the meditation again and again. Okay? And consolidate it. You need to make your mind of loving kindness solid and unshakable inside your mind. And you should properly undertake the meditation. That means you need to properly practice it and do it again and again. Make it a habit and make it a part of your life, right? Your loving kindness should not be separated from your life. We don't want to think and take the loving kindness into our mind. It should be there already inside the mind. Once you have the mind of loving kindness inside your mind already, you don't want to be afraid of any angry situation, any stressful situation, because you will stay peaceful and calm forever. So that is what you need to. These are the qualities that should be there inside the mind of loving kindness. And once you develop these qualities, and once you develop such a mind of loving kindness, you will gain 11 benefits out of it. So what are the 11 benefits? Number 1, Buddha says, one sleeps well. You can sleep peacefully because you don't have any enemies in your life, inside your mind. You don't become angry with anyone. Now, think like a day, a night, when you go to bed, your mind is in anger. If your mind is in anger, can you sleep easily? No, you cannot do that. Your sleep is not peaceful. So if one practices the loving kindness, he can sleep peacefully. And Buddha said, one awakens happily. If you sleep well, if you sleep peacefully, right, it is normally you can wake up peacefully. You will feel refreshed. Now, there are some days that you feel so much stressed and so much tired even after a good sleep, right? But if you practice the mind of loving kindness, you will have a good sleep. Because of that good sleep, you will wake up refreshedly. And then, Buddha says, one does not have bad dreams. You will never see bad dreams, right? Now, there are people who sees nightmares all the time whenever they sleep. If you practice the mind of loving kindness, you will never see nightmares. And Buddha said, he will be pleasing to human beings. That is a natural thing that happens when you practice the love and kindness, right? If you spread the love and kindness, and if you do lovely things from your body, from your mind, from your speech, everyone will like you. Everyone around you will like you. So you will be pleased by people. And then Buddha said, one is pleasing to non-human beings. You will be pleased by non-human beings also, because you spread the love and kindness to everyone, right? Now, it's normal that we all like to associate and be with a person who has the love and kindness in his heart. Isn't that right? Yes. So everyone will like you, right? No one will come to harm you. And Buddha said, you will be protected by deities. The deities that wishes the good of that person will always protect that person, right? And also, Buddha said, fire, poison, weapons do not injure that person. If you practice a strong mind of loving kindness, you will be protected from fire, you will be protected from weapons and poisons, right? That is a special benefit. And also, Buddha said, one's mind quickly become concentrated. Your mind will be concentrated quickly because your mind is peaceful. Your mind is stressless. You don't have any depressive thoughts. You don't have any angry thoughts in your mind. Your mind is not distracted easily because you have a strong love and kindness within your heart. That anger cannot shake your mind. So, your mind will be naturally, it will be more concentrated and tranquilized. And Buddha said, once you have a tranquilized and peaceful mind, your facial expressions, your facial complexions will be more pleasing, right? If you need to look better, practice the loving kindness, because once you practice the love and kindness, your heart becomes peaceful, your heart becomes beautiful, right? Remember, beauty is not only the skin beauty. You need to have, beauty should be within, right? When you have a beautiful heart, you are beautiful within, and also you are beautiful from your complexion also, from out also. So, practice the love and kindness, you will be more beautiful, right? Then, as the 10th benefit, Buddha explained, one dies unconfused. There are so many people in this world. They die with a confused mind. They lose their consciousness, right? They run out of their mind. They become confused when they face the death. But if you have the love and kindness within yourself, you will be able to die with unconfused mind. If you can die, if you can face the death with an unconfused mind, it's a great privilege and it's a great advantage that you can face in your life, right? And as the final quality, Buddha said, if he could not attain any state of this path of liberation, if he could not attain any state, a good state in Dhamma, right, he will be reborn in Brahma world. He will be reborn in the Brahma world because the Brahmas, they practice the Brahma Viharas. Brahma Viharas means metta, the loving kindness, karuna, compassion, then mudita, appreciative joyfulness, and upekkha, the equanimity. These are the 4 Brahma Viharas. So if you practice these 4 Brahma Viharas and these 4 sublime thoughts in your mind, your next life will be a peaceful one. So these are the 11 benefits that we can attain by practicing the mind of loving kindness. To practice the mind and to establish the mind of loving kindness, remember, we need to practice the loving kindness meditation, because in that meditation we cultivate, we mean and we feel the love and kindness. We spread the love and kindness to ourselves and to the others. So these are the 11 benefits that you can gain. So practice the mind of loving kindness, practice the meditation of loving kindness, and enjoy a peaceful life. Namo Buddhaya.